The words test prep can make even the most veteran teacher a queasy, but whether we like it or not, test season is upon us. Keeping your students engaged during this time can be extremely challenging. In today's episode, I'm going to share with you some of my favorite activities that I used for test prep for reading with my students, and they were a huge hit and kept my students engaged. Stay tuned. What's kicking, educational rock stars? My name is Farah, the Center Fairy, your ultimate source for simple classroom systems to make your teacher life easier. Now, if this is your first time joining me here on the channel, be sure you hit that like and subscribe button and click that bell so that you get notified when I go live or upload a new video here on the channel. Now, I am so excited about today's topic because I'm going to be sharing with you 3 of my favorite strategies, activities, resources for test prep in reading, and my students absolutely loved these, and they were so engaged, and a lot of them I was actually using throughout the year. So once it came time for us to start doing test prep, they really weren't new to the students because I had been using them all year, but I was using them in a different way. The first activity and strategy that I want to share with you is something that you guys know I am absolutely obsessed with, and that is literacy centers. And a lot of times teachers don't think about the fact that they can reuse their literacy center activities as test prep materials, but there are some ways that you can do that. One of the ways that you can do that is using them in your small group instruction. You can grab some of those center activities that you've used in previous weeks, and you can bring those into your small group instruction to practice the skills that you have been teaching for the year. And you can do them in your small groups. You can play those games, and it makes learning a little fun and makes review fun as well. Now, you can also do this as teams. Maybe you pull some of your activities out and you decide some of those center activities out, and you decide you're going to make a couple of copies of them, or maybe 3, 4 copies of them, and you're going to put your students into teams, and they're going to race to see how quickly they can complete the center. Now, you can do this with the exit sheet or without the exit sheet. Maybe you just want them to play the game, but it's a fun way to bring a little bit of excitement into review, because review doesn't have to be boring, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can use activities that you've already been using all year in your classroom. Now, I also love to do centers whole group. So if you're using our math and literacy centers for K through 5, we also have digital components, and I love to pull those up on the board and use them as a digital activity to do whole class, just as a quick review for the skills that I know they're going to see on their state assessments or end of the year assessment. Now, the second activity and resource is reading responses. I don't think these get used enough. I think sometimes teachers think that they're just another worksheet and they don't really see the value in them, but reading responses can be very, very powerful. And my favorite thing about them is that they can be used with any book. So we have some reading responses available over in our shops that they're just simple reading response sheets that you can print and you can use with expository books, or you can use with, or informational books, you can use with informational books, or you can use with fiction. And they're super simple. Your students can use them with the books that they're already reading, so they're going to be engaged because they picked a book that they like, and they're just using these reading responses to practice some of those skills that you know they're going to need to really have mastered before their assessments. So you can grab those over in our shop. Now, I also love to use these reading responses as a whole group activity, because a lot of times our students are filling them out and maybe they're not realizing they're not filling them out in a lot of detail. But when you model it and do it as a whole group activity, you can fix some of those problems. But they're also great because they give you, the teacher, a little glimpse into whether or not you need to pull students for some extra practice on certain reading skills. So again, you can find our reading response sheets over in our shop. Now, the third strategy and the third activity and resource that I want to share with you is close reading. If you are not using close reading in your classroom, then I encourage you to do so. Our close reading packets, we have a packet for first grade, and then we also have a packet for second through fourth grade. And in the second through fourth grade reading, close reading packet, they are differentiated. So it's the same exact passage that the students are going to be reading, but it's differentiated for their reading level. For test prep, however, I like to use the on grade level passage and do this as a whole group so that I can really, really model some of those strategies that I know they're going to need during the test. Some of these strategies might be citing text evidence, finding details in the text, finding the main idea. And we've set our close reading passages up with some strategies for them to be able to go and color code the text. We've also included a key that they can use so that they can annotate the text. Those are skills that your students need to do like the first time, second time they read. And hopefully you're teaching your students that when they read the passage on the state test or the end of the year assessment, that they're reading that passage multiple times and doing these close reading activities like the ones that are found inside of our reading comprehension packs. You can model this for your students and they'll be ready to do it on the state test. Now, if you're looking for more tips, strategies, and simple systems to take back into your classroom to make your teacher life easier, check out the videos on your screen. Thanks for watching and keep being an educational rock star.